Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we're back again in figuring out life, and as you see, Farah is here with us.
Hello.
Yay! But sadly, Fida is not here. So we're taking turns. And as we promised, we're gonna talk about managing emotions as a follow up of our previous discussion about identifying emotions. Hopefully, you have prepared about all of your issues, problems relating to emotions. So you will be excited to know more about the things that we're going to talk about. Uh, yeah, about managing emotions. And why we come up with this topic is basically, oh, before that, let me introduce myself. Probably some of you haven't known us, just watched this episode as your first episode, but happily, this is our 10th episode. So, my name is Isna Mahdina Wadda, and some of you know me as Anggita. And here with me are.
I'm Famita Wijayanti, and people usually call me Famita. And I'm a college student. I'm so excited to be here today because we're going to talk about managing emotions. So that's all from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Faradita Safitri. People usually call me Farah, and I'm currently helping Marina Forum with the projects and with discussion forums and everything. And today, I'm very excited for the discussion because I've been missing the last two discussions. So hopefully, you are excited too, like me.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have two other segments. Probably we call it or two shows. The first is a more youthful EDF. We're still trying to figure out the name.
Yeah.
One of the hosts is Talita here, and then the second is Better Steps. It's all guys. It's like a discussion for guys talking about ways to improve to better yourself with very practical tips or practical actions. Okay, so be sure to also watch those shows and hopefully you get inspired, you get enlightened to better your life. And here, of course, we're gonna continuously figure things out about life. And today we're gonna figure out about emotions. So yeah, we picked this topic because emotions is an astounding, amazing, complex creature that we continue to identify a lot of things about the things that we feel.
Yeah.
And we felt that in the journey of self development and self improvement, we are entangled with a lot of emotions. And sometimes it can be, sometimes and a lot of times, it is quite in a negative aspect,
Yeah.
right? Like we are being overruled by our emotions, so we tend to say a certain things that we regret later, and then we became unfocused, we became unorganized or anxious due to emotions, while we need to be more logical when we are doing a lot of things. So, and many times we tend to accept naturally, and I think a lot of us tend to accept naturally whatever emotion that occur at any moment in life. But many times we have experienced consequences, not only regrets, especially in business,
Yeah.
in social interactions, family, friendship.
Mhm.
There are consequences when we are being overruled by emotions, and we find ourselves regretting the things that we say or do. So, and the inability to manage emotions can hinder us in obtaining bigger goal, higher quality, or higher standards of our life. Okay, so just pick your purpose of listening to this discussion. So whether you want to find solutions about the emotions that you are struggling, not just struggling, like facing right now, or other things that you want to think about or figure out by listening to our discussion. So I think previously we have discussed about what is emotion. So basically, emotion is like thoughts, feelings, behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure And emotion often influence our condition. Other definition also, emotion is a complex feeling of consciousness, sensation, and behavior reflecting the personal significance of a thing, event, and situation. And emotion is also something instinctive or intuitive feelings as distinguished or differentiated from reasoning or knowledge. So basically, that's a very theoretical definition, but the things that we feel, how we
Yes.
respond to things, how we um, define our mood. So basically, all of that are emotions. Okay, so why? Why do we need to manage our emotions?
I think it's very important to manage our emotions. Maybe some people will call it controlling our emotions. We're going
Uh-huh.
to talk about it more later. But I think we need to manage our emotions because emotions are always there with us in
Mhm.
dealing with any type of situations. Not being able to manage our emotions can keep us from performing our functions and achieving our goals at a given place and situation. Perhaps people who can relate to this usually are the ones in professional world. Maybe they are working with other people or dealing with daily pressure in their office, in their companies. So they they will understand how emotion sometimes can affect them in doing their work, which is usually must be done with logic.
Of
Yeah, so I
course.
think that's why we need to manage our emotions.
Mhm.
And I think why we need to manage our emotion is basically because they play, like Kafara and Kahmita said, they play a significant role in shaping our thought and behavior
Yeah.
and actions and interactions as well with others. So unchecked emotion can lead to impulsive decisions. Like
Mhm.
whenever we do something and it based on emotion, it makes us making impulsive decisions just because our emotions. So strain relationship and overall dissatisfactions in life. And by learning to manage our emotion effectively, we can like cultivate
Cultivate.
Cultivate.
cultivate greater self-awareness with
Yeah.
and empathy and enabling us to navigate life challenge with our logic.
Yeah. Those are the things that are needed also, like to be able to understand about our problems and solve our problems and create more success towards the certain things our towards our purpose in life. And I think why do we need to manage our emotions? We use the word manage, not to control, because it's not just only um, retaining or holding back emotions, but more to the point of using those emotions in a more positive light, which is not very familiar to a lot of people. I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar either.
Uh-huh.
Like in our pre-discussion, I thought, oh yeah, I mean, if we feel anger or
Uh-huh.
if we feel happiness, we can actually use those emotions to do something else
Yeah.
instead of just
Exactly.
like, okay, I'm angry. I have to respond negatively or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, and in our pre-discussion, like I felt that you guys also like the concept is very foreign of using our emotions, like
Uh-huh.
using that as energy. So we tend to feel when we feel happy, then we tend to always need to follow our emotions.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do? I'm not happy. What can I do? I'm not in the right mood to study.
Yeah.
And then when we felt that way, especially in work or any demanding situations, we try to push ourselves to get through that emotion. So we're just saying that, okay, I'm sad, but I don't have to feel my sadness. Like I need to compress this sadness and then I need to focus on my work and everything. So we are categorizing it as something that is unsolvable,
Mhm.
that is something that we just need to push through, whether we like it or not. So it became that's why people probably became more depressed, more
Yeah.
anxious towards a lot of things because he or she felt that I cannot um, I cannot be happy or I cannot be comfortable because I need to suppress my emotion to get my work done, to study or to interact with other people,
Mhm.
to accomplish a certain things and everything. So that's why understanding about first acknowledging about emotions itself and managing those emotions is, for me, is extremely important, because it's not just not following your emotions but actually like difference, like make them as something, as a tool for you to grow, instead of something that you need to suppress, you need to calm down, you need to hide it away in a certain corner of your life. And then like, okay, and then if you push it aside a lot of times, and then in time it will take up like three-fourths of the room or like the whole room, because like you just put it there.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then when we manage, because when we manage something properly, if we're talking about managing, we have better chance to reach our goal and even open up the possibility of upgrading our goal. But when we manage our emotions, we need, hopefully we will be able to accomplish a lot of things and acknowledge those emotions as something that is not negative, that is
Yeah.
something that is not ununderstandable, incomprehensible, and something that we need to put aside, but it's something that we can incorporate within the structure or organization of our life to help us create a better ourselves as a better person, a better personality, and bring benefits to others. Okay, so because we use the term managing instead
Yeah.
of controlling, so what is managing? I mean, what is management? How do you manage something?
Managing is like something involves a combinations of understanding, organizing, directing, and controlling resources or aspect of a situation to achieve specific goals or outcomes. So it typically requires like effective planning, decisions making, also like delegation, communication, and ongoing evaluations to ensure success and adaptability to changing circumstances. So, in the context of managing emotions, it involves recognizing about our emotions, also like understanding our emotions and regulating one's our own emotions of ourselves. So yeah, I think that's it's managing for me.
Actually, that's pretty.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
detail.
Yeah, detailed and complete. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think what involves in managing something, like Kamita said, is um, if we want to break it down more specifically, when we manage something because we have a certain goal that we want to achieve.
Yeah.
So we take into account the things or the parts that we need, that are required to accomplish those goals. So let's say we want to make this podcast or this YouTube channel. So we take into account, like we list down, we need speakers, we need contents, we need the technical or operation facilities, we need like something to record our like videos and sound and computer and internet, blah blah blah, and everything. So when we take into account those things and we manage it, the way we manage is we organize. First, we categorize, right? We categorize like, these are the technical parts. These are the human. These are the humans, and these are the contents or intangible aspects. Basically, from those three things, and then from there, we manage them to be directed as we see fit accordingly to their functions. So we're not asking a computer to create a content for us or to speak for us here, right? Although AI is everywhere, but still, it's better to see us here, right? Rather than a computer. And then we don't use my personal tablet, or maybe we don't use our lighting to record the sounds because it's not their functions. and it applies also to our thinking and our emotion.
Yeah.
So we don't use our emotions to make the whole decision of our life. But emotion is actually an energy that we can use to respond to something, to identify stimulations. For example, when we see each other and we are happy, then we are identifying that we're meeting our friends, we're
Yeah.
meeting someone that we like. So it helps us to identify all of those parts or things that we want to incorporate to reach our goal, right? Whether it's environment, whether it's other people's emotions, or other people, or atmosphere, because we
Yeah.
talked about it
Yeah.
like previously that there's also certain atmosphere, like when it's raining, when it's sunny, it affects our mood, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but so don't forget that there's a function for emotion that we need to take into account. First, we recognize that emotion itself, and we've talked about this in the previous episode, is the level or the type of emotion itself, and what triggers it, and what is the output or the expression of the emotion itself. And I think the most frequently phrase we use that means managing emotion is controlling emotion. But this is actually only a part from all the managing process of emotions.
Yeah.
So controlling emotion doesn't always translate into managing emotions.
Yeah.
But if we manage emotions, within that there is the control or controlling of emotion. So that's why I think hopefully you are listening to this, and if some parts you need to repeat some parts, and we also put in some text to help you about the definition of emotions and everything else. But grasping the concept of managing itself, it is crucial for us to actually take the first step of managing our emotions. Okay, and then, yeah, I think it is. What about your own experience? Because you guys said you are not familiar. Me, myself, I'm still figuring out how to manage emotions, like trying out new things, and then looking at literature, observing other people, my reactions to other people. So, and then try to always put it in a positive light, like turn it into something very positive. But that's me. What about you guys? Your experience about managing emotions or controlling emotions, probably?
Yeah, actually, if I think back, I think I have been controlling my emotions. So the goal is to not let my emotion burst out uncontrollably. Yeah. So okay, when I'm happy, how can I express it in a proper amount so that I'm not hyperboling, or when I'm sad, how to express it in a proper amount as well. So
Yeah.
it's about controlling, so it doesn't burst out uncontrollably, because managing emotions apparently is not familiar with me, because when I'm for example, when I'm sad or when I'm angry, I will let that emotion pass before I start to do something else, because
Uh-huh.
you know I don't know, when I feel negative emotion, sometimes it um, takes over my activities, like
Yeah.
when I'm sad or when I'm angry, I will not be able to think, and I will just like focus on the person or the thing that makes me angry or that makes me sad, and I cannot complete other tasks. So that's why when I feel negative emotions, I will just be quiet, be with myself, and then after that emotion pass, I will try to um, complete other tasks. I will try to focus on other things. So whereas when I feel positive emotions like excitement or happiness, I can do other things. For example, when I'm happy, I can um, memorize Quran, for example,
Mhm.
memorize Quran smoothly when I'm happy or when I'm excited. I can, what is it? Clean my house very properly, like deep cleaning. So I think I'm still stuck in the perception of negative and positive
Mhm.
emotions. So it's very hard for me to navigate to function when I feel negative
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah, but actually for me, it's happened yesterday when I doing my internship. What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Internship.
internship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internship.
Mandatory from your college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing it with a lot of negative emotions because I was like, I done it from from the morning, but it not turns well. So it keeps deleting my my writing. So I was like, I was mad, and but at the end of the day, I was like, why do I do it like that? I was like wondering why did I do it like with happiness, but etc. But then I realized that actually I use it because of my own anger. Because like, why do you do it today? Why not yesterday or yesterday or yesterday? I was like that.
Well,
So
it's a
it's
good
my
thing.
own. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
my
it's a
own.
good thing that you have an internship because when you
Yeah.
work, it's going to be like that every day.
So
So,
yeah, I basically.
There's a time frame for
yeah.
internship.
So basically, because of that, I realized that oh, I actually can use anger to done my own jobs. I was like, and I also realized that it actually helps, but not effective, but not really effective because when I'm angry, that time I was like trying to find a really simple thing to
Yeah.
done my own
To
my
finish your
yeah, to
job.
finish my
Yeah.
job. So I was like, I was trying to find a lot of there's a lot of YouTube videos, but then I searched from like the more effective
Mhm.
effective videos, and also like I also try to find new ways to done my own my job. So I was like, oh, this is how I should do. I should use my emotions. So I was like that. So
Like,
I
do
just
you want to take revenge
yeah.
for your job?
Yeah, I should done this. So I was like that. So yeah, it's basically because of that. So I was like, I was quite impressed for myself because of that. Like, oh, I can use my anger to do my job. So I was like, I also can use my happiness to do my job because I always knew that I basically use happiness like I said before about managing identifying emotions. Like
Yeah.
I said about mm, whenever I wake up in the morning, I try to be positive. So I will wake up with a smile. Also, like I done a lot of things that I have to do to with a positive energy. So it helps me to done things properly and more like based on an excellent quality. So
Mhm.
I was satisfied with my own job, but turns out during my like deadlines, like the
Mhm.
deadline that comes here. So the anger, the sadness, it also helped to done my my job. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I can use my emotions. So emotion is not that bad actually, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Angita said, it can be our energy. Like we put that in energy to done our job to a specific goal, but maybe it's not turns out better as when I'm happy or
Mhm.
when I'm doing it with a positive energy as well.
So I think a lot of people can relate to your stories and Kamita's stories. And I think what I want to point out is the part where we are like being pressured. We are in a pressure situation like that. We have this high level of emotion. And getting close to the deadline, we feel that wow, I became so smart. I work faster. Like all of my. That's why people also know about emotion IQ, EQ.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, emotion quotient.
Uh-huh.
IQ, intellectual quotient. Yeah, EQ. And because of that, we think that that is the best version of our ability,
Mhm.
which is that's not the case from my observation, my understanding. But what we need to understand is like emotion is an energy that can help us to concentrate, to focus, to be very specific, very focused to our goal in that specific time. Because we experience it every time we are getting closer to the deadline, the closer we get, like the faster we work, the like our adrenaline like comes, and then everything happens, and then it finished. So we're very happy about that. So I think that's one that is also proof that emotion is actually an energy.
Mhm.
So we're not just focusing on, okay, turns out sad is sad, angry is angry, mad is mad, anxious is anxious, nervous is nervous, depressed is depressed. Like, so there are six. There are six different types. But in essence, like originally, everything is an energy. So from there, we can understand that, okay, so why don't we switch things up? When we're nervous, why don't we switch that with excitement,
Mm.
right? So it's the amount of energy is the same, but let's put a different makeup on it. Different. Let's put a different clothes on it. Like let's change the clothes, the clothing. Let's change the cover. Let's change the design probably. Just change it. So when we're nervous, like switch it up into excitement because it's an energy. And I think if you've done like speech, public speaking, and
Mhm.
everything,
Yeah.
in a way, it's not just overcoming your nervousness,
Yeah.
but you can use that nervousness to boost your confidence and the level of excitement within yourself. Like change that nervousness into excitement. But you need a lot of
Of
exercises,
course.
evaluation, and observation. And secondly, I think like what Farah said, like suppressing,
Mhm.
controlling emotions, like in a certain situations, things that you deem as negative emotions, you just suppress it,
Mhm.
but it's still there. So the negativity, let's say you have this suppress this 10 suppress like nervousness or anxiety or hate. Let's say you have this hate and the energy amount is 10, but you just like let it pass, like okay, I'm not gonna express my hate, but it's still there. It's like when I say like the clothing is there, it's still in your rack, it's still in your closet, just waiting to come out. Right?
Yeah.
Because we are not acknowledging like okay, let's just put it there. Okay. And then another time you feel that hate and then like just put it there. When it's overload, then you felt the need to express or to like open up your closet and take everything out because it's too full. You cannot actually choose your clothes anymore. And you know how clothes when it's stacked
Uh-huh.
and then when you pull one out, everything comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? If it's like so tight and then like and it bursts, right? So that happens. So when you picked out something, picked out an emotion, even if it's excitement,
Mhm.
even if it's happiness, it can also lead to a burst of other types of emotions if you keep on stacking it in a closet or within yourself. So I think so. It's not very healthy to do that. I think a lot of things, but I also think we shouldn't overrate this emotion
Mhm.
into making it defining ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be like I'm depressed, blah blah blah, and everything, but we just need to recognize these emotions and organize it. So that's the second. And I think the third, what Kamita example is like, okay, I'm gonna start my day with happiness. That is one of the way of organizing and using or directing our emotion. So the emotion is triggered by ourselves. not triggered by the external factors.
Mhm.
Whereas the emotion that we know that that is most familiar to other people is there needs to be a stimulation from outside.
Mhm.
We meet someone we like, and then we felt happiness.
Mhm.
We met someone we dislike, and we felt hate.
Yeah.
Right? And then we watch a movie, a sad movie, and we cry.
Mhm.
We watch a fun movie, and then we laugh.
Mhm.
Those are the expressions of our emotions. So a lot of people, I think a majority, thinks that using their emotions only reacting to other things, especially things outside of ourselves. But whereas like what Famita is doing, like when you wake up in the morning, um, you talk to yourself. Um, what is it? You organize. You create the circumstances of happiness itself.
Mhm.
It's like directing the energy, directing the emotions before it react to certain things from outside. So it's like preparing your army or preparing what? Okay, today we are only responding to positive things, like giving a morning briefing when you are working. Yeah. Okay, we need to be aware if we are a team of security. Okay, so today we need to be highly alert and protect this castle or protect this place or protect this office, and then from there the attitude itself will be different.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I also feel the same because whenever I feel the positiveness, trying to like wake up in the morning and be positive, and it turns out that whenever people come to me and then they say something mean, it doesn't feel mean word to me as well because I'm more like, oh, they give me an advice. It
Yeah.
goes like that. It turns positive as well. So I think it's a good thing
Yeah.
to build your own emotion to manage it because it came like that.
Yeah, you're not becoming overly sensitive
Yeah.
from other people.
Ah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
If you have your guard down,
Yeah.
so like, and you're expecting good things to come your way, but you're not preparing it, and then like when someone says bad things to you, you will feel like overly sensitive because
Yeah.
you're not prepared for that, right? Okay, so it's like putting on an armor, a positive armor, not armor that buries you or hinders you to relate to other people or connect with other people. It's an armor, the way we organize our emotions. Okay, so that is like how I think I'm sharing how to an illustration based on our experiences about managing emotions. So it's not just controlling. Controlling is also part of managing emotions, and it is the most relatable
Yeah.
and easier to conduct, I think, because like controlling is simply preventing it from happening, or when it is happening, we just need to suppress it and like mitigate it in of not creating bigger risks. And okay, so I think we can talk about how to manage emotions based on your own experiences or any other thoughts about emotions that you want to that maybe people can relate, because this is quite, it's not heavy, but this is quite enlightening, or like you need to open up your perception, because all of this time probably all of us only use emotions for reacting to something, and the only way we know is like not letting our emotions out. That is the only way we coordinate or organize our emotions.
I think the hardest part in managing emotions is like directing, like directing the emotion to comes out for for ourselves. Like whenever we want them to like, I want to be happy, but it turns out we are not happy. It's not really easy to direct them to like to go out and then like I want to be happy, but ourselves don't want us to be happy. It's like preventing us to feel that kind of emotion as well. So I think that's the hardest part. But the things that we need to know is like understanding ourselves. So Also, like, if you want to be happy today, then you must like start with a better way. Maybe like, for me it's like smiling to other people, and like also like putting some notes that I will be happy, and then I will like uh, note put a notes that things that I like. So it's I'm imagining myself like, uh, I'm doing this today, something, doing something that I love. So it helps me to direct my emotion to a positive level. It's something like that. Also, if we talk about how to manage our emotion, it begins with self-awareness, like where us actively observe with our emotions and identify triggers, and also like allowing for a deeper insight into how emotion impact our thoughts and our behavior as well. So we need to know it first, and then we try to direct our emotions into a positive things. But the direct itself, I don't know how to tell this to you, but I think the things that you need to know is like, uh, you have to know yourself, because that's the first thing to do. Because I do something that I write down something that I love, and then it turns out that I can wake up with a positive energy. But I think you need to find your own solutions as well, like trying to uh, trying to do many things to find your own way to be happy as soon as you wake up in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs trial and error and it needs practice. It doesn't probably doesn't work the first time around, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
happy tomorrow. I'm gonna start my day with a smile, and then like turns out like 15 minutes in, after you smile, and then your siblings do this to you, and then your
Yeah,
mother.
it happens to me for the first time. I do this. It happens.
Yeah, but don't say no. This doesn't work. And I agree with Pamita. You need to find your ways that make sense to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need to understand the logic. You have to get a firm understanding. Like Pamita, start from okay, I need to start my day with a smile, and believing that it will direct your emotions.
Yeah, actually, Amita has a very good point where about knowing ourselves, and I think we have to know or understand ourselves first before we can manage or control our emotion. Yeah. For example, because I know that I'm quite euphoric in reacting to something, and sometimes my emotion, sometimes I express my emotion in a, you know, not in a proper amount. Like it's usually come out too much to other people. So I try to control it by reacting to everything calmly first. Like maybe think first, okay, what type of situation is this? Is this positive, negative, or what am I feeling right now? So I take my time to think for a moment what kind of situation I'm dealing with and how can I express my emotion properly. And after that, I express my emotion. Actually, it works a couple of times, and what is it? It helps me to, stop being euphoric and try to, control my emotion. I think I'm still on the stage of controlling first, and because that's my main problem is there. Like it usually comes out quite hyperbolic. Yeah, so I try to react to everything calmly, whether it's bad news, good news, or exciting news, or anything. I try to uh, react calmly and process the thing first.
Yeah, and then that's the thing about finding out your ways of controlling and managing emotions. Like Farah case, for people who doesn't know her, it can come off as stoic, like very calmly and very robotic about things. But we know that's not the case. No, she's not like that. I mean, like people who doesn't know us probably will think about the way we handle things. It can come off as less expressive towards things and everything. So yeah, but we need to manage our emotions because we have a higher goal and purpose. So that's why. So those are consequences that we have to experience to
Mhm.
know more about ourselves. And then along the way, we will find the right fit that we can use each and every time we stumble upon certain kind of cases and situations. And I think yeah, it needs to make sense to manage our emotions or wanting to manage our emotions because you can feel that I'm okay with my situation right now. Or you feel that you have to exploit yourself in a very psychological way, like you have to go to therapists and everything. I'm not saying those are bad, but overrating or like seeking for attention, probably, those kind of things. It's going to be a trial and error journey, but hopefully, what we're talking about, you can relate and you can be more aware and have the need or want to actually manage emotions because it will change your life. And I think one of the things that made me start to manage my emotions, thankfully, I get a like one of the best advice that I get in my life is like an explanation that we have the liberty, we have the independency, we have the capacity to decide whether we want to be mad or not to other people, despite of his or her behavior or their behavior. Like the first time I heard this, it comes off like, wow, what a wise word. But along the way, it became my aha moment when I was at work, at campus probably, and then like uh, I kind of dislike another person, and then like, why am I wasting my time like thinking about what she did to me, where when probably she already forgot about it. Like I'm thinking of her and she's not thinking of me. This is not fair. But again, at that time, that advice came to me. That advice, like I remember that advice, and then like, oh right, so I can do that. But why not? I stop thinking about her, and then I just continue to do more productive things. And then from there, I know that it works. Oh yeah, that's true. So this also applies when I'm being sad, moody, demotivated, lazy. So anything I want, I can decide. Is this possible? Like, I keep questioning, but the more I try it, turns out like, yeah, it works. And it's not as complicated, hard, or yeah, like it's not something that's so difficult. You just have to like, I'm mad. Okay, I'm gonna stop being mad at her. That's it. And then you go with your day.
Yeah.
It's actually like that, and I was alhamdulillah. I'm so grateful that I have that experience and I get that advice. And from there, I get more understanding about emotion, about thinking from our community, of course. And thankfully, I was what being trusted to lead a certain a program, and it opens my eyes even about emotion itself. About yeah, turns out we can manage our emotion, we can organize it. Like first, we need to recognize our emotions. Like talk to yourself, do soliloquy. It's like having an inner conversation with yourself. And it's not only recognizing your sadness or happiness, like you need to like dig deep about your reaction to other people.
Yeah.
What is this?
It
Is
could
this
be
like
hatred, it could be
jealousy?
jealousy.
Yeah, like it could be like nervousness when you meet other people, and also like different forms of jealousy.
Yeah.
Turns out I have jealousy that is not expressed as dislike or hate.
Uh-huh.
It can be like a subtle what?
Admiration? No?
Yeah, probably it's admiration in a way, not admiration, but like giving off this um formal vibe, like this connection.
Uh-huh. Uh,
Like with you, I can be
uh-huh.
like friends,
Uh-huh.
but with someone who I felt probably this is happening. Um, how do I say this? This is happening a couple of years ago, I think. For someone who has like better business than I do,
Uh-huh.
gets better profit revenue than I do. Actually, we have this connection that is quite similar with me and you.
Mhm.
So we can be actual friends, even sisters.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't happen because of that innate. I just wanna say the complexity about this hidden emotion within ourselves that we need to recognize.
Yeah.
I don't wanna make complicated, so I have to see this thing. It's so hard to get now. Just but I want to express how I found out about this, like very small hidden jealousy
Mhm.
that doesn't come off as jealousy at all.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was with that person, I'm as friendly as possible,
Uh-huh.
but there's this, what is it, barrier or
Uh-huh.
like distance
Uh-huh.
that I kept with her, so we're not as
Uh.
friendly as we're supposed to be. Looking at our character, like our purpose, like we are very like-minded, so it's
Mhm.
highly possible for me to become best friends with her, but that doesn't happen. And then I keep trying to figure out why what is it, because like what Famita did and Fida did, like Fida suggests mood tracker and also journaling. So every time I meet other people, I try to digest and evaluate
Mhm.
how I interact with that people,
Uh-huh.
right? Especially when people that I'm not around every day. Those are all. I also try to examine the way my emotions work in that area. So yeah, and then from there, I think if I cannot find the exact word for this emotion, it is a hidden underground jealousy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I understand how emotion can be very complicated, and if we try to break it down, we will need like 2 hours of discussion session.
Yeah.
It's very complicated, and I think we owe it to ourselves to find the
Huh.
root
Yes.
of this emotion, because it can be what is it? It can be because of the person, or it can be because how we were raised. It can be because our environment. So I think asking questions to ourselves to find out the root of our emotions is quite important.
Yeah, it is extremely important, and especially if you find yourself living your life, having those uncomfortable, awkward moments, even to yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like you cannot be yourself to yourself. That is a big problem, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to always be in many situations, whether it is because of your work, social pressure, or because of your studies and everything. So if you find that you're not living a convenient, kind of comfortable, you're not being comfortable or confident about yourself, then that is also one of the trigger that we need to want to know more about how to manage our emotions. So I think from me, to manage our emotion, remember that emotion is energy. So it doesn't have to be always in negative and positive light. Just think of it like I have this amount of energy, whether it is like hate, sad, anger, or those negative energy, or happiness, excitement, amazement, probably. What are the things like ecstatic about a lot of things? Those positive energy, happiness, not both. Everything is energy, so you can use it any way you want to. If you decide to use that energy in a positive light, then you can do it. It can help you to do that. So we can control our emotion by giving pause to reactively expressing our emotions towards unfamiliar situation, by probably giving mental talk or rationalizing what is happening right now, like what Farah has mentioned. And secondly, we can direct our emotion to provide support towards our goal, task, interaction, and whatever we do in life. So we can actually plan our emotions. So you can take example from what Famita did, like starting your day with a smile and then direct your emotions to be happy. So that is one of the way, but probably you'll find your own way of how to direct your emotions. Okay, and then the third is make a point to exercise and develop managing emotion skill and gain the flexibility of emotion that can boost your growth tenfold than your current conditions. So try it out. And it's not gonna be wasteful, right? If it doesn't succeed, at least you have tried. It's like another steps towards bettering your life. It's another steps of recognizing your emotions. And hopefully if you keep doing that, you will find your own way. You will be able to manage your emotions. You can live your life more freely, conveniently, comfortably, and gaining more success in life, inshallah. Okay, any more?
Maybe like practicing breathing, like whenever you feel you were mad at someone or some
Ah, yeah.
yourself, you take a breath and then like
Breathe, yeah.
istighfar, astaghfirullahaladzim,
Yeah,
and then yeah, I think it became
yeah.
better. And
Giving pause.
yeah,
Yeah, so from your point, I remember another tips is like doing organizing things physically, like how you can take a pause, count 1 to 10, you breathe, you shake your hand. This is tips for losing getting over nervousness when you are doing public speaking. But it also applies like also um, lie down.
Mm-hmm.
Lie down is also one of the tips, like, but yeah.
But don't sleep.
But don't sleep because you have to go on stage afterwards. But actually doing physical things, that is organizing things, like organizing your desk, work desk, organizing your room, cleaning your house and everything. And be mindful that while you are organizing that, you are actually organizing your emotion or psycho or mental condition. So with that, you will feel, I think this also happen unconsciously when you finish organizing or cleaning your space. Usually you feel better
Mhm.
because it's like it connects between physical and psychological. And as we said earlier, that emotion is actually energy to react to a certain stimulation. So our physical conditions, of course, ultimately our emotions will react to that. So positive physical activities can also be a way to exercise our emotions, but also you need to be mindful when you are doing organizing something, or you are doing positive things. It is also very good to say to yourself, okay, by doing this, I'm also organizing my emotions. By doing this, I'm also being aware about my emotions and putting positive energy towards positive things. Okay, yeah, I think that's as far as we can go talking about managing emotions, because we're still figuring out about managing emotions itself. And we, of course, we try to practice, we try to discuss, and we also create consultations about these kind of things, because to be frank, when we want to develop ourselves, when we want to recognize ourselves, a lot of times we need other people to converse, because sometimes we have difficulties conversing with our own self, because it's kind of unfamiliar territory for us. But when we are conversing with other people, and then we can relate with each other, so we can recognize, oh, that's what happens to me, like what happened to her. Like you can relate to our stories, you can relate to our understanding and difficulties and everything. So that helps. So like hopefully you have people around that, to help you with your self discovery, figuring out life journey, or join us on our discussion. If you want to join us, you can DM us in our Instagram. And if you have any questions, you can write down in comment sections. And hopefully we can talk about it and we can reply in the comments if you have things that you want to solve together. Okay, that's it for today's Figuring Out Life. Hopefully this is a way for all of us to figure out better ways, better techniques, better have better insights about the things that we can do to better our life. Inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.